Hey there, and welcome back to the Homemade Haven. It has rained and it has somewhat snowed. I guess as much snow as what we get here in eastern North Carolina. And it has iced and frozen, and needless to say, it's become a muddy mess here at the land. In our last house update video, we showed you guys our pond that isn't really a pond, just where it's sitting water, and all of the extra rain and freezing ground has not helped at all. So today we are out here trying to dig a little bit and finish the job that our guy tried to do when he dug us this little trench into the neighboring ditch. It was a great thought, but the neighboring ditch is jammed up and blocked up. So our job today is to get over there and clean it out and get things moving out towards the road and towards the creek across the street. So this is kind of what we're working with out here. Everything is wet, and even areas that haven't held water over the past several months are holding water. So not great. We know that a lot of this will kind of drain off and evaporate as it gets warmer. The sun pulls it out. But our main concern is this body of water back here. We don't need it sitting and staying for several months, especially with us trying to get in here and dig our septic back there in those woods. So we're going to do what we can to try and get some of this water moving. So I got here a little bit later than Robert did, and we've got a friend that is helping him. They have already made it over to the neighboring ditch and started clearing out a lot of the brush over there. So let's go look and see what kind of progress they've made so far. Alright, so there's the area out there. This is what here too, up by the trailer, but that area back there is where we're going to be working. We're going to cut through our wood line over to the neighboring property to tap into the ditch that they have over there. This is a little path that was already kind of indented, so the guys just went ahead and cut it out a little bit more, utilize the trail that was already here. Let's get back in here and see what they're at. Alright, so here's the ditch line here. Not very deep, a little bit shallow, but could be really helpful if we got it cleared out and running correctly. I can hear you.
I told him I'd hook him up because he's about to. Is that the path?
Yeah.
That I was clearing out over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because that's where I came up, I think, on you. It was over here.
There's a little bit of a blockage over here.
We need the cutter thingy.
It's out of gas. Check that other orange one out. It's got a dipstick. There is a will. Take that. Maybe I will with the construction.
looks like it's all drained out.
We're full of oil.
Take it out now.
So a few days later, we're back out here and we have resorted to buying a sump pump. So the goal is to get this pump out here and try to pump the water into the ditch that's next to us. We've never used a sump pump before. We've never drained a pond or large entity of water, so this is brand new to us. Hopefully it goes well. It has dried out a little bit out here since 4 or 5 days ago when we last got the freezing rain and really soaking weather, but it has been a mud pit out here. It's just been cold and not very sunny, so a lot of it hasn't got to evaporate, so everything is just mucky and sticky and gross. And thankfully this whole week has no rain in the forecast, but it's still been cloudy, and this weekend, which is only 3 or 4 days away, they're calling for more freezing rain and maybe snow. So we're hoping that this sump pump will really get in there and do some work, and if we need to use it again after this weekend, we'll know how to do it, and we're just praying that it is helpful and we can get this water off. So we'll see how it goes.
Don't record me in my time of misery.
Check out this. It's disgusting. It's just caked and gross. Dreaming of drier days.
What we're gonna do is don't go over that hill.
Over the hill.
Don't go that way. Once this thing's all the way out, I'm gonna hook it to the other hose. Yeah. You may have to go get one of those red hoses. That's it right there.
Okay.
You're good.
Almost.
Whoa, Nelly!
Ding-a-ling-a-ling!
We're gonna have to move the machine over there, aren't we, on top of that hill? We're working this area because
Alright, Robert is moving the sump pump, getting it closer to this hose here. We've got 100 feet of this output hose going over to the ditch that's through that thicket there. The hose on the sump pump is only, I think, 20 feet. So we have to get really close to the source, and the end of it has to be completely submersed in a good amount of water. So there he goes now, sticking it into the trench that our friend so lovely built for us. And I think we're ready to crank this thing up and see what happens. Alright, so now Robert is priming the pump here with some water. And we're about ready to crank this thing up, see what happens. Hopefully it will start draining the swamp, if you know what I mean. Oh. I'm gonna walk down the line. Oh my God. We got it. Success. Get this kink out of here. Once that water starts moving, there's a lot of pressure. There it goes. There it goes. Moving now. Let's take a look back in here. Yeah. So this is the ditch line. It runs all the way out to the road and across the street to the creek. So, goal is tap into this ditch, move it off our land, and hopefully dry things out a bit. We got a couple of glugs here just going up and over stuff, so I'm gonna try and move that out of the way, make it a little easier for it to get through. Okay, so it is officially about a week after the beginning of this video. We have been out here almost every day trying to pump the water out over onto the drainage ditch next to our land, like we showed you earlier. Eventually it got to the point where that ditch started to backflow back into our trench that our friend dug for us. So we actually moved the sump pump closer to the berm, and we pumped it up and over the berm to a place that we knew could handle the water and wouldn't be a problem when it got wet. So we actually were able to pump quite a bit of water out of here, and thankfully we haven't had much rain in the past week. We did have one night of freezing, snowy rain, and the ground has been able to recover a little bit. It is still very mucky, very sticky, but not quite as wet as it was. And the reason that we started to pump this water out was we were kind of nervous that the septic people would not be able to get in here and do what they needed to do, because there was a ditch going through the middle of the line that they needed to go down to dig our septic lines and put our leach field and everything back in the woods. So thankfully we pumped out just enough water that this crew was able to come in here, and it was no problem for them to get their excavator in here. They actually built themselves a nice little bridge over the ditch that was dug here. So they were able to get in and put their work in, and they have actually gotten all the way up to close to the house with the pipes. So the septic tank is in at the house, the distributor box and all that. So they just have to connect it with probably less than 100 feet left of PVC pipe. So our efforts were not in vain out here trying to dig these trenches and ditches and pump more water out. There is still water sitting here that we don't want sitting here, but I think it's going to be an issue until summer rolls around and things really dry out. So as long as things are good to where we can get in here and move into the house and none of that is affected, then you know it is what it is. We're just gonna have to keep the dogs from this area because it's a mucky mess. But once things dry out, we will definitely manicure the ditches better and fill in this trench that this guy put out here for us so graciously. And then the water that we call the pond, we want to dig it out and make it a dedicated pond. So we definitely have some work to do to get the drainage right out here to make it to where every time it rains it doesn't hold water, and if it does gather water that it gathers in the right spot, aka the actual ditches and the pond. So it's going to take some time, and I don't know that we're going to be able to handle it all ourselves with our equipment that we have. We might have to hire some professional help, especially for the pond. We don't know what we're doing with that, but at least things worked out this time. Crisis was averted, and we were able to get our septic lines in, which is huge. It's something we've been kind of concerned about, but they're in and things look good as far as that goes, so that's a big weight off of our shoulders. So we're excited to be at this point, even though there is still standing water and mud, but we'll get through it with time and patience, just like the whole entire building process has been, just time and patience, and we're getting quite good at it. So thank you guys for sticking around and watching this video and coming on another adventure with us. Stay tuned, like I said, to see the end result of our pond area and drainage on this land. It is going to be an ongoing process for sure. So stick around for that, and if you have any tips or tricks on draining or digging a pond or anything that might help us in this mucky situation, please leave it in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We've got a lot in store for you guys and can't wait to share it with you. Until next time, that's it for now. We'll see you guys later. Bye.